Welcome to Use Your Words podcast, where we believe in intelligently spoken conversations. So, you know, and I will admit, like I said, I can talk, or not, yeah, or not. Well, apparently I can talk and not talk and talk all at the same time. So welcome to another episode of Use Your Words Podcast, special Corona Easter edition of Use Your Words Podcast, since we all have to practice social distancing and isolationism and whatever. Yes. As in the line, you can hear there Mr. Aaron Johnson. And notice I said on the line, not in person, so can't see Aaron's face as he tries to laugh and do Aaron-y things.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you're just gonna do that.
I'm here. Hello.
Also got Mr. Josh Brewer with us.
Hello.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
he's there. Just so he's there. If he cuts off in the middle, well, yes, we'll leave it at that.
Why would I cut off?
Oh, you never know. Never know. Things happen. But we're doing a different way of recording, so we're not seeing each other in person. So because we're not seeing each other in person, we're not going to do Aaron's Word of the Week because, to be frank and honest, that's more entertaining for me because I get to see Aaron and Josh's facial expressions as they try to convince each other of what the word is, how to say it, and what the definition is. And that is my entertainment, and I am deprived of that due to Corona. So it is what it is.
Tough
Yeah, I know.
world.
Tough world. So we decided, a few things to talk about. One of them, since, the world does go on even in isolation. So what holidays coming up, guys?
St. Patrick's Day.
Easter, you
What?
fool.
St. Patrick's Day is in the past, sir.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, Josh. Your trolling doesn't work online.
St.
No, I guess it
Patrick's
doesn't.
every day when you have a beer in your hand.
No, only if it's green beer.
Yeah, true. I can make it great.
So if it's Easter, does that mean you have to have pink beer?
Ew, gross. No. What? Why pink?
Why green?
Because
Aaron, let's just make orange. Let's make orange beer.
I'm down.
All right.
Okay. Easter, not St. Patty's Day. Easter.
Easter's coming up here pretty soon. In about a week or two.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, actually 2 weeks.
2
So,
weeks.
yeah, so 2 weeks as of us recording. Or no, a week of us recording. I'm sorry.
Because
week and a day.
It'd be a week and a day.
Yeah, tomorrow's Palm Sunday in real life, and then the week after is Easter.
Wait.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So that being said, I have a question for you, Mr. Brewer, Mr. Johnson. In this wonderful Corona world where we have Easter, are your churches doing anything special to celebrate?
To be honest, I have no idea. I don't know about you guys, but all
Yes,
Grace
they
is
do.
doing are the what?
I know Paul's church does.
Well, I'm at like I said, in this year, in this wonderful time. So are you guys just doing like online sermons, or are you guys doing something else?
I'd imagine online sermon for us. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up to date with the church I've been going to. I've just been watching random sermons on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Josh, you said you don't think anything's going on for your church in particular?
I can see the worship team doing something to where, because they'll do live on YouTube and then they record it and they put it on the website to listen to as a podcast. So I can see the worship team doing something, and them putting together a video for us to watch or something like that. But otherwise, there's really nothing else they can do.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. So we're doing, and I'm sure you'll be dragged into this, Josh. because your future fiance, or not your future fiance, your future wife. Wow. Unless you
spoiled it.
Unless you already got married.
Nope, but that's on the table here.
Yeah, I figured as much. I talked with someone. We're doing a drive-in worship service where you drive in your car and we'll broadcast it over FM radio.
Oh my gosh.
Why are you going, oh my gosh?
I feel like what's the point of that, I guess?
I got nothing.
I mean, it's like you guys are trying to be like, oh, well, we're still going to meet on Sunday, but you're staying in your car because we're quarantining and stuff like that, but still come to church. I don't know. I think it's silly, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I got nothing. I
mean, I can see like if the pastor or something was on the steps and was talking to everybody, or the worship team was on the steps. I could see something like that. Like, you're still meeting, but you're still quarantined because nobody's leaving their car and everybody just rolls down the windows or something. I could see that. But.
Yeah. So pastor will be on somewhere outside.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be the Peterson family playing and singing.
Are they so they are going to do music?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And then we're going to try to broadcast it over FM, which we'll see how this works.
Right. Might as well use a megaphone.
We'll see if we even get the FM transmitter in on time. It was just ordered yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
No.
So maybe. So if you're in the receiving area, well, actually, so we have a backup solution.
Okay.
The backup solution is we will broadcast it over Teams, Microsoft Teams, that involves you being able to dial in with your phone to listen.
Wow.
Now that makes sense to me. Like if the church had their own app or something, that makes sense.
Well, it's not our own app; it's Microsoft's app. But
see, I mean, if you're already doing an online stream where people can listen to it, why go the extra mile to have people sit in a parking lot in their car?
I'm of the same mindset personally, but I'm making it work. I'm trying to help out, make sure everything works. But that being said, this is actually a very phenomenally popular thing right now.
I did hear about some church in some other state doing that. I'm like, okay, good for you.
So there's been a church that's been doing this in Florida for like years.
Really?
Every Sunday of theirs, it's a drive-up church.
What?
Like that's their thing in Florida. Like they are known as the drive-in church. Like everyone just gets and parks in a parking lot, turns their FM radio up, and
nice.
It's interesting. I think I may have heard about that.
But that being said, like there has been a lot of discussion online this past couple weeks about churches doing this sort of thing, about drive-in Easter churches. So we're not unique in that regard. There's a lot of churches doing that. In fact, it's so popular right now that a lot of FM transmitters are actually sold out online. You cannot like find them. They are just sold out.
Man.
And of course, guess where they're all coming from?
China.
Yep. China.
Of course.
So it's like, oh boy. So we'll see. Maybe we have to quarantine the FM transmitter for 14 days over in the corner before we can use it.
I made a joke with my coworker, and we had just gotten something for the shop, and they package it with those like air inflated bags.
Yeah.
So I sat there and I went kaboom. He looks at me and his face, he just makes his like, that white look face that somebody might. That's what he looked at me and he goes, "We're done. You just released Chinese air. We're done."
Yep. You just released the Corona.
So,
okay. Side tangent, and this will be included. Corona beer has actually stopped making Corona beer. Just FYI.
What?
And that's not a joke, but
I was thinking about when
Wow.
we come to a break and record a Corona podcast, I was definitely gonna have a Corona beer while we were recording.
Well,
Do you
you can
have a
ha-
Corona beer right now?
sorry. I just like me and Aaron talked about earlier. Corona's going to creep into all these episodes because, well, you can't escape Corona. It's everywhere. So I was, yeah, but I was just curious if your churches were doing anything special for Corona Mass, Corona Easter.
Corona Easter.
Happy Corona Easter, everybody!
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so outside of this year Corona Easter thing, what is, and I'm not talking about now, because if you're still getting Easter baskets now when you're over 18,
What?
well, you might be a little precious then.
But what? That's supposed to stop?
Yes.
When my parents hide eggs around the house and it's got money in it, I ain't ever too old to go find them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you talking like 5 cents, or are you talking like dollar bills?
Dollar bill, y'all.
Okay, that's adult Easter egging. I can get behind that.
I just go for it for the candy.
That's called diabetes.
Yeah.
Okay, so in all seriousness, though, besides a current age of adult Easter egg finding and that, what were some of your like family traditions and that you did younger, or maybe even now to this day, even with Easter? What does your family do, Mr. Johnson?
Okay. When I was younger, yes, we would definitely do the whole Easter basket thing. Well, yeah, so there would be, I think we've done more Easter eggs with the nephews and niece.
Mhm.
But as far as I remember, for like just my sister and I, when we were younger, we'd each just have our own basket and we'd have to go find a basket. That was honestly really about it. Obviously, besides meeting up with family and stuff like that and having dinner and or lunch. And geez, I don't know. Just going
Okay.
to church. That's nothing really crazy.
No. Okay, so nothing really too crazy there.
No.
Josh, does your family have any Easter traditions?
I mean, there's the every other year we would rotate between my mom's side and my dad's side for dinner. And when I was younger, my parents would do the same thing that Aaron's parents did for him. They would hide a basket. Each kid had a basket, and that way they made it kind of even. But as we got older, they moved away from the basket and they started doing eggs. And oh my gosh, it was probably one of the most fun times of the year because Jared, he likes to watch other people, so I'd sit there and I pluck his string. It was so easy when we did this. So I'm taller, so I can see things better.
Right.
And I'd sit there and I go, "Oh, I found a big one!" And you'd hear him go, "What? Let me see." So he'd come running in the room, and meanwhile, he's watching all the eggs that I'm grabbing. And my parents would be like, "Jared, go find other ones. Don't watch your brother take the eggs." And so when he would run away, I'd sit there and I would yell again, "Hey, I got another big one," and he would come running over. So
Oh
I
my
would be
gosh.
distracting him from getting the egg. So I was just putting more and more and more in my bag. But when we started doing it, they made us split the money evenly. And then as we got older, they're like, "Oh, you found more, or you found more money, you keep it." So it became a little bit more of a competition. But then he started to do his own hunting and not watch me hunt.
Okay.
So all Joshes are selfish. We're learning today.
Yeah, of course. As we learn every time. So did you guys just get like candy and that in your Easter baskets, or did you get anything else besides candy?
When I think originally it was candy, but usually it would be kind of like a stocking in a sense, like a Christmas stocking. So my parents would do it. So might do be one or two things of candy, maybe like a DVD, like a video or something. Then maybe like a little toy or something. But I do remember at one point, back when games only cost $20, if there was a game I really wanted, they got it, for like $20. Now they're $60. So, but yeah, like a PlayStation 2 game, I may get one, and then I would get less. So they kind of put a value to the baskets that they would spend, and depending on what we were into and stuff, they would package it that way.
How about you, Aaron?
Could really go for a value basket right now at Culver's.
Oh my gosh. Of course.
But no, yeah, it was younger. It was just candy. And then as I got older, it started to be like some money, I think. And if I got any change, I would just give it to my sister because I wouldn't want it. And also, I totally forgot. I don't know how I forgot, but decorating Eggies.
Yes.
That. I don't know how I forgot about that. And now I kind of want to do that again.
Well, I mean, it's not like you got anywhere to go. There's a lot of free time you got these days.
And it's not like, I was going to say, you could just have your nephews do it for you. And then once you let them incubate in the fridge for 14 days and see if anything grows on them, then they could give it to you and eat them.
What?
Just so you got like money and that in your basket. Gotcha, man.
Yeah.
You white people, your Easters are boring.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, your turn.
And this is why I held off, because I was like, man, your Easters are boring, white people.
Did you have another Monopoly like shootout kind of thing?
Oh no, it's not Monopoly. So first, I'll start with the baskets. So our baskets, like both of you, when younger, primarily candy. But like when I got older, I was getting like Dave Matthews Band CD sets and all that, which was kind of cool. Up until I went to college, and then after college, it was here's a bag of Reese's peanut butter cups. Happy Easter. Not even in a basket, just here's a bag.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that was the basket thing. But so for Easter, we would do the basket. The parents would do the hiding of the eggs around the house. So we'd have to go and find the eggs. And I remember watching my mom. She was always meticulous in counting how many eggs we found versus how many she hid. Because you don't want to leave that one egg out there that sits out in the hidden place for months on end, and then you find it, and ooh. So Sunday, Easter is always on a Sunday, so church would be involved. But then you would get together with the family, and that was like every other holiday in the world. For us, it was a ham, a turkey, tamales, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, sweet potato casserole, and like 10 other items. Big old smorgasbord as a family.
Yum.
But we would also do one other thing. My grandma would save up throughout the year eggshells. So what she would do is when she cooked eggs, she would like only chip off the top of the egg and then like shake the egg to get all the contents out into the skillet, use the egg, cook it, whatever, but then rinse and save up the eggshell. And then come Easter time, what you do is you fill the egg with, you dye the eggs, fill them with confetti, put crepe paper over them, and then on Easter Day, you smash them over people's heads and release the confetti.
What?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's just something my family has always done. It's a very Mexican thing. You can buy these eggs in the store pre-made like this, but my advice to you is do not do that, because these eggs that you buy in the store are very, very, very hard, and they will hurt when you smash them on someone's head. Unless you don't like the person, then go ahead and buy it and then smash it on their head, and they'll be like, why do I have eggshells stuck in my skull? Because I don't like you, that's why.
I am down.
But no, it's actually kind of fun. You're sitting there chasing around your cousins and your aunts and uncles. You each get like a dozen eggs to do this with. And you just go and smash eggs over people's head and release the confetti everywhere.
Wow.
It's a very Mexican thing. That's what I said. You guys are boring.
I wish we would have done that. That'd been so much fun. Well, maybe I'll bring it back. Well, not bring it back, but introduce it to my family.
Well, you first got to start saving the eggshells.
Nope. I'm getting the hard ones.
Oh, do not get the hard ones. Just
I'm doing it.
Only do that for people you don't like.
So you get the hard ones and you put them in one of those water balloon launchers, and you see how far you can hit somebody.
You're mean.
Ow. That's like throwing a rock at someone through that.
You're mean.
Yeah.
We'll just get the youth group kids together when this whole virus thing passes over.
Again, we need to save eggshells to do this because, literally, you create a small hole in the top as possible when you drain the egg of its contents, so to speak. So, but it takes forever because you gotta either buy the confetti or like us, we made the confetti.
That's legit.
You know how we made it? We took cray paper, put in a 3-hole punch, punched it, and then just kept 3-hole punching. That's how we made confetti.
My God.
So we would be doing that, and then someone else would have, like this, a hole puncher, a handheld one, and be sitting there hole punching the cray paper as well.
Sounds like a very lively time.
Let's just say it took many weekends, many 12-hour days to do dozens of eggs. Because, like I said, you gotta dye each egg, wait for them to dry, film with confetti, seal them with cray paper. Yeah, you also got to cut out the little squares for each egg, and yeah, it's a lot of work.
I'm really getting hungry for some eggs right now, though.
Well, it is Easter time, so I mean that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
But yeah, so that's what I said. You guys are boring with your Easter. I mean, we're smashing people over the head and running around causing chaos.
I wish I
if Greta Thunberg saw us, she would yell at us. She'd go, "How dare you!
How dare you!"
Because we're polluting with all the paper everywhere.
Oh, absolutely! That's awful. How could you?
How dare you? How could we is because, well, whatever.
Right.
I look at it this way: the eggshells is good fertilizer.
Yeah,
that is true.
After as long as you don't go out barefoot for a while.
Oh, yeah.
You thought Legos were bad? Eggshell in the foot.
Is that really that much worse?
Well, so Legos. They're think about getting the corner of a Lego. That's what like an eggshell is. If you get like the tip of a sharp eggshell.
I get that. That makes sense.
So next time your nephews are over when the quarantine's lifted, have them put some Legos out, blindfold you, and walk around and see how that goes for you.
No, I'm just gonna put eggshells on the ground for them to step in.
Oh, there you go. Get the extra hard ones on.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, and our Easter traditions were very much, think of it as Christmas minus Monopoly plus egg bashing over the head.
That's pretty legit.
That's what our Easters were. So I was like, okay, yay! Dude. So it was entertaining to say the least, and we haven't done that in a while because after my grandma passed away, no one's been saving eggshells. And my grandma in a year would save, tens of dozens of eggshells.
Oh gosh.
And she used to cook for the whole family. Like every Thursday was go over to grandma night. And she cooked food for everyone. So, she went through cartons of eggs like no one else. So,
wow.
So now we got no one saving eggs. So maybe eventually we'll get there again. Just tell the whole family, okay, everyone, you must contribute, 6 dozen eggs, 6 dozen eggs,
6 dozen. What?
What?
6 dozen eggs over the course of a year is not that hard.
No.
But if every family, household,
every family household, contributes 6 dozen eggs.
How many households is that, Mister?
Well, in my case, that let's see here, that is with all my cousins, in their houses, and my aunts, my uncles, that's about 20 households, 20, 30. Can't
Bro,
count off the
That's
top of my head.
1,400 eggs.
Yeah, we'll
14.
go through that in like a half hour.
That's like an all-out war right there. Everybody just flips the couches and starts chucking.
Yeah. Well, no. You don't chuck. You don't throw. You smash on their head.
Yeah,
Wait,
Josh,
why
get it
can't I
straight.
throw?
Because if you throw, it hurts more than smashing it on their head.
All
You're a
right, well,
cheater.
put on safety goggles and let's go at it.
It's not so much the safety goggles. And also, if you throw them, the shells tend not to break on hitting the person. The whole point is to break it on the person and get the confetti all over them.
I mean, I will gladly do this game with Josh and throw him at him and see how he likes it.
I would too. I would love to chuck these at Aaron.
No, I think when we reconvene youth group, we're going to do a night of everyone chuck eggs at Josh.
Yeah.
The one that explodes into confetti wins, because by then he'll be covered with yolk, and then the confetti will just stick to the yolk.
Yum.
Hey, you're the one who wanted to chuck eggs.
I don't agree with that at all.
I do.
I know you do.
One.
Hey, Aaron, wasn't your car egged at one point?
It's not funny, Josh.
No, I'm just
No,
I
it
was
was,
just
yeah.
curious.
It was. And
Mhm.
somehow my window is slightly cracked and some leaked on the inside of my car.
Fun days all around.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that
Ugh.
sucked. That's mean. Don't egg people's cars. Or just houses.
Or if
I
you-
don't
Or if you do, make sure the windows are all up.
know.
Unless it's Josh's vehicle, then go ahead.
No.
But
No.
Anywho, okay, so that's what we. So that's Corona Easter. That's Easter past.
Yeah.
Easter future. So we've covered Easter.
future.
Yeah, we've covered Easter current, Easter past, now Easter future. Like the Christmas Carol. Christmas
Yeah.
past, Christmas.
Yes, yes.
Except it's not going to be all dreariness. So next year, think into the future. Next year, right?
Yeah.
When this whole Corona thing is hopefully over by then.
Right.
Depends who you listen to. Some are saying this can last 2+ years.
Yeah. At least like seasons of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's make this wonderful assumption. Next year, Corona's a thing in the past. What will you do for Easter next year now that you can actually celebrate Easter without the fear of Corona? Are you going to do anything different?
Probably have family get together again because I'm sure we're not doing anything this year.
Well, yeah. But would you do anything different from like what you would normally do in the past? Would you like?
I'm throwing eggs at Josh.
I will join you in this.
I will have to build myself a riot shield now.
Yep. And then I'll probably have, if I get anything for Josh, I'm gonna have to get some stuff for his kids too that he's gonna have by then. And then
Yeah, because they're actually expecting a baby boom out of this.
yeah, I know. I've
Well,
seen
that kind of makes sense. Everybody's home. You get bored, you might as well. All right, let's do it.
So, are we going to have to up this from triplets to quadruplets?
yeah, at least for Josh.
No.
For sure.
So, anyways, back to would you do anything different for Easter next year? Realizing that you had an Easter where you could do absolutely nothing besides, besides whatever you could do inside your house with your family, to Easter where you can do whatever the heck you want.
Honestly, I want to play that egg game with my nephews now.
Well, start saving those eggs.
Yeah, for real. I'll probably, after this episode, I'll probably go make some eggs.
Oh, and also talk to your mom. Be like, Mom, this is how we make eggs now.
Right. Start preparing.
But the important thing is, after you empty the shells, to rinse them out and dry them out. That's
Yeah.
the important thing.
Oh, for sure.
Which means you're gonna have to start saving all of the egg cartons too, because you're gonna need somewhere to store those eggs.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you're gonna do that, because I don't you get like your eggs from a farm thingy?
Yeah, and then we give him back the egg cartons so we can fill up
Right.
the egg cartons again.
So maybe you're just gonna have to find a way to, you know what you could do? Get a cardboard box.
Yeah.
You get like because they have those like cardboard like egg holders. Get one of those. Get some of those.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got I know we made a thing of that for to try and do a sound deadening thing before. But that or I'll just store them in my bass drum.
Yeah, that'll work out so well.
I feel like that'd be kind of entertaining to like get a camera in there and just watch them like fly around as you play. That'd be fun.
As you crack all the shells.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to do the egg thing. Okay. Josh,
Yeah, it'd
will
be
you
fun.
do anything different in the future? Besides, the fact that you'll be married at that point.
To be honest, I don't know. I think we're just gonna go back to doing the normal.
Wow.
You just get together and stuff like
Boring.
that. I know, Aaron. I know I'm nothing but boring.
That's why
So
you need
but I
me
mean,
in your life.
He is an old man.
I am very old. But no, I mean, I don't think we're gonna do anything outside of that. I think we'll probably maybe because traditionally it's been kind of like, okay, you get together and you're together for like half a day. Maybe we try to do it to where it's a whole day thing or something like that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
You'll see. Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Brewer yawning already, tired.
No. You heard that? I'm surprised.
Oh yeah, heard that loud and clear. Okay, so future wise, I don't know. Maybe enjoy the family get-togethers a little bit more, since can't do that this year. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, can't do that. Because typically, I personally like I get together for the the holidays for the families. It's like I gotta be here again.
Mhm.
It's like, oh wait, I can't do that this year. Huh. Okay, interesting. Okay, so go on.
Oh, no, I was just say we'll just have to, play some games instead and get together that way.
Well, yeah, there's ways you can do that, but unfortunately, can't do Monopoly like my family does online.
Oh
because
no,
we
no.
break the rule. We do so many custom rules. It's just can't do that.
But you can't
Also-
do it on.
Also,
No one can go to the bathroom and pull out more money.
Yeah. Also, you, Josh, and I will just have to, hop on the good old Xbox and play some games.
Mine's all the way updated. So what's up, Josh? What do you got in your mind?
I was gonna say, so what about Tabletop Simulator?
Oh boy.
Well, no, I think it's actually on
No.
sale right now too.
It might be, but I'm not gonna.
Sure.
Well, I'm saying, like, for someone like us, we could probably do that. Like for my family, there's no way I'm going to be able to teach them. It's like trying to teach Josh, if he was 90 years older, how to use a phone.
Oof.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like for someone like our age, Josh, yes, 100%. Yes, Tabletop Simulator, because it has all that stuff. But older people, unless they're tech person by trade, not happening. Just how it is.
Rough.
You have to know your audience a little bit in that regard. So, Easter past, Easter present, Easter future, Easter spiritual now. You knew I was going to go there, right, Aaron?
Ooh. Well, yeah, of course.
So, I'd like to hear from each of your guys' own words, and we're going to start with Josh. So, Josh, start with your head. What does Easter mean for you, I guess, on a spiritual level or a personal level, or however you want to think of it that way?
Easter, spiritual level. What does that mean? I guess a time of reflection, a time of looking back at the story, kind of like Christmas, you it's a time where, okay, I need to focus on this very, very important piece, this important time, this important thing that happened that helps really define Christianity. And in this case with Easter, what our, specifically for our salvation. Because at this moment, this is how we're able to get into heaven. So it's kind of one of those times where I just kind of sit there and I just kind of reflect back, kind of dive in, and just focus on the sacrifice and focus on the love that God and Jesus had for everybody. I've told the boys this before, the youth group kids, and I think I've told you guys as well this too. But if we get into the conversation later about it, I'll explain one of my most favorite parts about this whole story of Christ dying on the cross and rising from the dead. Um, I'll mention that later, but I mean, yeah, it's just really for me, it's just a time of reflection. And I guess one of the things I haven't done in a while is just open up the Bible and just start diving in and just reading a passage over and over and over and finding different ways to dissect it. And I haven't done that in a long time, but that's one of the things I would do with Easter. And you know, the one thing that amazes me about listening to different pastors, and that's something I've started doing. I've started subscribing to different pastors and stuff on YouTube, just to kind of see their take on how they explain, because you can have one phrase and it's almost kind of like a picture. It can have a bunch of different meanings. You can pull it apart different ways, and it's I think it's really good and healthy for a Christian to be able to see a bunch of different ways that certain verses can be pulled apart and different stories can be pulled apart, because there's so many different meanings that it could have with different people. Now obviously, there's some things that shouldn't be taken out of context, which is the base principle of the story or this verse. But different analogies or different ways that you can apply it to your life, or um, just listening to somebody else who's been taught how to dissect verses and stuff like that, and listening to how they pull it apart can almost give you a different idea and look at something. And like I said, I'll explain my favorite part about the Easter and the Easter story later if we touch it, because that's a whole other side thing.
No, go ahead now. Actually, that's fine. This is the
Okay.
Easter episode.
All right. So
Hmm.
my favorite thing is when, and it's really simple. It's really short. Jesus gets betrayed, right? And he said, "You're going to betray me," right? You have him in the garden, and he's on his knees, and he calls out to God, and he says, "If there's any other way, please let it be. If I don't have to die on the cross, God, let's do that." And God looks at his own son, his perfect son. And a lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? I mean, kind of, I guess for an analogy, I put it is like, if somebody's got a dog that they love, imagine telling your dog you're going to die. I mean, just kind of the seriousness of it. God looks down at his perfect son, and his perfect son is begging his father for something else, a different way. And he says, no, this must be done. And he says that for us, for people who slip into sin and temptation all the time, who speak blasphemy, who sit there and worship the devil, who sit there and disown Christ and everything that he's done. And people like us, the Christians that are listening, because real Christians, we know that we'll never get on top of everything, but we know that we have to admit what we've done. We know where we need to go, and we're constantly trying to make a positive and a progressive step towards trying to make our life reflect Christ as much as possible. But I mean, it's just kind of mind-boggling. I mean, think about something for those of you who maybe don't have a dog. Think about someone in your life that they are the last person that you want them to die, but you're willing to sacrifice them. You're willing to kill them so that someone else has a better chance at life. I mean, as humans, we can't comprehend doing something like that. Not with something we love, and if you can, okay, maybe it's time to see a doctor if you can come to that conclusion. But yeah, it's just that's one of the most beautiful things about it, is that he was willing to do that for us and know that not all of us are, gonna see him one day. Now I can see somebody go and say, well, no, God knew Jesus was gonna rise from the dead. So it's kind of like, hey, Aaron, I'm gonna kill you, but you're gonna be on my couch when I get home. So it's gonna be all good. That's besides the point.
What?
There was actually somebody on the cross, bleeding, begging for air. This flesh, this thing on the cross, regardless if you don't speak of him being Jesus, or if you just speak of him being as a common criminal that Christians paint as our savior, this flesh object, okay, died. The body died. The body was buried, and it came back. So even if God knew, God did know, but even if he, it was kind of the thing of like, oh, let's just get rid of him so these people can come in, and then my son's gonna come back, so it's no biggie. People also got to remember that God was 100% man and 100% God too. I mean, at the snap of the fingers, he could have washed the pain away if he wanted to, but he didn't. He embraced the pain. He took the pain. He took it for us, and that's the other thing too. It's God not only telling his son to die, but his son actually took it. His son could have snapped the pain away, but he took it because he knew he had to do this for us, for the people that he loved and performed miracles for. He knew this had to be done this way, regardless of what he could do. And it's just they kind of getting back in that mode and watching it, and thinking about it again. And one of the other things my family will do is we'll actually watch the crucifixion of Christ. So watch it, because that movie, helps paint as real as possible the situation, and it they don't hold back on the gore, which I think a lot of people is a triggering point for seriousness, and so I think they did a good job with the movie, The Crucifixion of the Christ, and stuff like that. But there was a story on it. I'll have to try to find it here. But there was a story about when they were filming up on a mountain that the sky actually became very dark, as if one would say God was helping them go through the thing. I'll have to look it up. I'll stop talking on that, and I'll do see if I can find some research on it. But
yeah, as I say, that's all right. I don't. We can post that link later at that point. But, back to your point, and again, because I said Corona is going to kind of infiltrate everywhere we're talking about, these days, because it's everywhere. Back to your point of, people willingly giving up, something they love, someone they love, be it an animal or a family member or whatnot. You want to think of it as a modern analogy. It's not a perfect analogy. Think of it this way, people in the medical field who maybe they're a doctor or a nurse or whatever, and their family every day, they're, or not even doctors in that, essential workers we're even talking about. We're talking about, people work in, retail jobs or whatever, where they're in contact with a lot of people, let's say at a Walmart or something. And those people knowingly go to their jobs every day. Now, obviously, they're not going to a death sentence like a cross, but they are going to where they are putting themselves at for right now because of Corona and how well it's spread and how infectious it is and how we have no immunity to it. They're putting themselves in danger. They are putting themselves in the essence. Their families are saying, go do it. And you're seeing photos all around where doctors are coming home and they're living in tents in their garages, or, their kids want to run up to them and they're like, from a distance telling them no, because they don't know if they've been exposed to Corona. They don't know if they've been exposed to this wonderful disease that's spreading around now. You have an analogy almost in modern life to seeing that every day with people's heartbreak, watching that they have to give up their spouse, their kids, whatever, because they don't know. And, obviously, like I said, it's not, oh, you guys send, your spouse to work at Pick and Save and they're going to die there. but they might pick up the disease. And in a way, this sounds kind of coarse, but in a way, it's perfect timing because it's in Easter. It's when that imagery comes up, when maybe something will click and say, hey, I can see a little bit. I can see a glimpse of how painful this was because seeing just having to separate and allow family to go to these places where they can be exposed and potentially get sick and how heartbreaking that is for people. Imagine how much harder it would be, like you said, to willingly give up someone for the greater good for their life. And that's the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, I see you're muted, buddy.
Yeah, I thought I had myself muted that whole time, but I guess I didn't.
It's all good.
Cause
I just saw you were muted.
yeah, we had some noise going on upstairs, which I'm sure you heard.
No.
Oh, good, because there's one of the folks must have been vacuuming and clanking stuff around upstairs. So,
and even if I do hear it, remember it. And this won't be in there. But remember, each track is recorded individually, so I can cut that out even if I do hear it.
which is nice.
Yep. But
So,
but yeah, that's as you were going through that, Josh, that was my thought on it. It was like it's not a perfect analogy, but it's close where you get just that little glimpse, and we're seeing that glimpse on a mass scale.
Yeah.
One that we haven't seen probably since like the Spanish flu, which none of us were alive for, unless one of you are immortal and haven't told me.
Well, I mean, Aaron seems to be really comfortable with life as if he's gone through it already.
what?
I was more going towards you, old man.
Oh,
Yeah, what the heck?
So, but I mean, we're seeing just a minor glimpse of that. I mean, like I said, sending a family off to potentially get infected, where in reality, only 40 to 50% of people might get the disease and not show any symptoms. But that's a very minor piece. Whereas if you knowingly sent someone off, I mean, Josh, you're looking to get married soon. If you knew that by sacrificing Amy, that would save the world, that would be hard.
Right.
that would be very, very challenging. But it's something that as humans, one person can go, oh yeah, I do it. But if you really have an attachment to that person, you're not just going to go, oh yeah, I'll do it.
It's easy to say you'll do it on an intellectual level. Because people go, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Intellectually, that sounds beautiful. Thank you, Spock from Star Trek. But emotionally, that's not easy.
Yeah.
Emotionally, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Mm-hmm.
That starts, even me just saying that emotionally for me makes me cringe, because I'm like, I want to believe that, but at the same time, I know to what depth that may eventually call for.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So but that's a whole other thing there. But unless, Aaron, do you got anything then? Do you want to go on a Joshian talk?
No, not like that. No.
Well, do you have any closing comments?
I mean, when it comes, I feel like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't, when coming up to Easter, I feel like there's nothing really, at least I guess mainly for this year, that's where it's like, this is the time where we really talk about Christ and his death and resurrection type stuff. Like, I feel like in the past that's been a thing usually, where it's like, okay, now we really start focusing about that now. But throughout the rest of the year, it's just a bunch of other different stuff, not necessarily focusing on the cross and stuff like that. It's just other lessons and things to I guess,
Right.
take from the Bible. But like for this year, I feel like that's been, I guess you could almost say, Easter-ish messages have been, I've heard plenty throughout this year. So it doesn't seem like it's, I don't know, like Easter has its own special time of year this year. Granted, besides the whole Easter bunny and all that kind of fun stuff is all coming out with stores selling Easter stuff. But I would say, like, one thing I do tend to do around this time is to watch The Passion of the Christ.
That's
So
the
that
name.
is
I say
one.
crucifixion of Christ.
You
It's,
fool.
yeah.
You know, I knew that's what you were talking about, but I was just gonna wait till I talked and then say
Okay.
it. But no, yeah. So I'll watch that, just, I guess, to get a small, very small glimpse of what that whole time was probably like. Because I mean, there's no way we can reenact all of that. At least put it on a movie that people would be willing to watch. Because I mean, I thought it talks about Christ being like unrecognizable after all the beating and everything. Getting
Right.
hung up on the cross, and in the movie, I guess it's the same guy, but still, it's like it's probably nowhere near as bad in the movie as it was in real life. So that is always a huge, I don't know, it definitely does make it more, in a sense, more real, or it hits you a lot harder than just hearing the message or reading about it. Like seeing something to kind of show what it was like is definitely something else to add on to it. But yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I I've been listening to well, you guys both know him, that Shane from First Free. And they've been doing a series in Mark for a while now. So I feel like, I don't know, you hear a lot of stuff about like the cross and resurrection and stuff like that from time to time. And some of his messages, especially near the end, because that's where it all kind of goes back to, is the cross and whatnot. And so like this year has definitely felt weird. And now with the whole Barona, it's definitely really weird feeling Easter, because it's like it's coming up, but it doesn't feel like there's, I don't know, anything exciting about it coming up, which is sad.
It doesn't feel like Easter is what you're saying.
Yes, correct. Yeah, it this whole virus outbreak thing is just really putting a huge damper on things, which sucks. But thankfully we have this way, well, I guess ways like this where we can still, I guess, communicate with, like, well, Discord and stuff like that, where we can still talk together and interact and don't have to do it in person, which, I mean, I don't know, we could still get together in person, I suppose, but it's just high risk, or higher risk now.
As I say, I have the most I've had personal interaction was grocery store. Not even then, that's still self checkout, and it's like,
yeah,
But I'll talk about that more in the
later,
thing, because I have something about that too. But regardless,
sure.
So doesn't really feel like Easter is what you're saying.
No, it doesn't this year. I guess as of right now, I'm sure when Easter actually comes up, something will happen. And
how much closer do you need? Tomorrow, April 5th is Palm Sunday.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
So what happened on Palm Sunday? It's, for one, it's the kickoff to Holy Week. As they call it. But that's when Jesus triumphantly entered the city, riding on a donkey. People laid palm branches down, which led up to the crucifixion and resurrection. It's like Easter's here.
It is very much. It's weird because, like, I don't, which I guess I kind of actually like this, because I mean, since I haven't really been out much, I haven't seen all of the typical like Easter celebration stuff or knickknacks for this time of year with the bunnies and the little peeps and stuff. Like, I haven't seen all of that junk.
I've seen it at the grocery store.
Well, I guess I've seen peeps, but that was like, I guess, way before
Oh, I'm talking about all the knickknacks and all that. They have a big old
Oh.
Easter section at my grocery
Yeah.
store. And
Yeah.
of course, as of Monday, the last Monday, so still
Mhm.
March, all Easter stuff was 50% off already.
Wow.
Wow.
And this was at a grocery store. I was like, oh boy, they're not selling.
No.
So I was like, peeps for me, peeps for me, peeps for me.
Dude,
That's Easter for me.
say it's not Easter unless you get a big chocolate bunny, you know?
I haven't done chocolate bunny in a long time.
Dude,
I'm more of a peeps person.
I do enjoy the peeps, but I do like a big Reese's peanut butter Easter bunny.
Oh my gosh.
Stop. That's right. I was gonna send that to you. I didn't. I came across some orange dreamsicle peeps that were
What?
bright orange.
What?
Yeah.
What? I'm going
So
to the grocery store.
So I forgot to send you that, but yeah, I came
Dang.
across those. But anything else then, Mr. Johnson, about Easter not feeling like Easter?
I guess that's probably mostly on me. I haven't. This week has been honestly, it's been a really kind of up and down week. It's been an interesting week for me. But I guess as time goes on, make sure to, I guess, get in the word, and it would be a good time to really dig into this section, which pretty much we're at least. I'm thinking in the study or not study the series with the first three there, I think we should be getting into all of this week because it's set up that way, I'm sure. But yeah, it would be really good to help make Easter be Easter by digging into that even more so than normal, I suppose, throughout the year. So it is going to be Easter. I'm sure it will feel like Easter once we get together with mom and dad and have some good old dinner and lunch, and that's like one thing I have, I guess, liked about this is being home and not going out so much, but that can talk for another time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Easter is definitely very, I don't know, it's not I guess there's the typical obviously big three holidays: Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, and I'm not sure if I really have a favorite. I mean, the top two being Christmas and Easter, but
You mean big four, Cinco de Mayo. You missed that one.
I'm sorry. I don't celebrate that one.
Everyone can celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
You're right.
Don't let those racists who tell you it's racial, it's whatever appropriation. Yeah, don't let those racists stop you.
You're right. I'll celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Put on a sombrero, eat a tamale,
woo woo,
dance the Mexican hat dance.
Makes me think of a VeggieTales episode with Larry dancing in the sombrero.
Yep.
That'll be me.
It is not cultural appropriation. It is just having fun.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, any other thoughts there, Mr. Johnson? Okay. Brewer, any final closing thoughts from you?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, wow, I'm impressed. I only got one brewer rant out of this one. So as far as it feeling like Easter or not, I mean, it's gonna feel like and I'm no way criticizing you, Johnson, so don't think I'm like attacking you on this one. So
it's okay.
It's gonna feel like Easter or not how you approach it.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal. Regardless of our current circumstances, Corona, jail, living in communist China, living, North Korea, and, oppressive regime, you think about it this way, for us, this is one of those few times where we're being told we have to self-isolate. I kind of put it into perspective thinking, the people who live in North Korea who are Christian, or people that live in China who are Christian, how are they approaching this as well and living through this?
Right.
This is, compared to what they're going through, this is very minor. We're just being told, just stay away from each other. You can still do stuff online. You can still do whatever. Freedom of speech is still enacted. Unless you're in Kansas, then You can't, governors forcing monitoring of people by electronic bracelets.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the whole other thing. But for the most part, most everything is still there. I have some qualms personally about some things, but I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to take the bigger picture at this point.
Right.
And it really comes down to the fact that if we want to celebrate Easter, if we want to get into, sounds weird, that Easter spirit. I don't know if there's an Easter spirit. There's a Christmas spirit, I know, but is there an Easter spirit? Do you roll around the grass and acknowledge that there's greenery growing? I don't know. But the whole idea of Easter, beyond, even if you're not Christian, the whole idea of Easter is that it's a time of renewal, a time of rebirth, and really, literally rebirth. Jesus rose from the grave. The whole reason we celebrate Easter. Okay,
for real.
Even if you go with the whole paganistic view of things and everything, the whole egg and chicken being born, blah blah blah, or whatever. Obviously rabbits don't lay eggs, but I don't know how they got. Yeah, that's a whole other thing on how we got an Easter rabbit that gave us eggs, or a Cadbury bunny that gave us eggs. Whole other thing. But in the long run, what it comes down to is how we approach it. We can sit here and some of this is stuff I learned going through my outpatient programs and that for my mental health. Do we sit here and look at the circumstances around us and say, because of the circumstances, I don't feel very Eastery? Or do we take it upon ourselves and say, in spite of the external circumstances, in spite of the coronas, in spite of the oppressive regimes, in spite of the oppressive laws, in spite of this, in spite of that, do we internalize what Easter means? Do we internalize and look at what Christ has done for us? Do we internalize and look at, because of his resurrection, we have this opportunity to go to heaven? Do we look at and internalize what that means in our daily lives? Where you were saying, you're not really seeing Eastery themes, Aaron, going around. That's fine, yes. Especially because if that gets spread around year round, all right, beautiful. Then we don't have to have the big old fancy church production just for Easter, where it feels like we're putting on a pageant for people to draw them in, and then we sneak in a little message about why this is important.
Right.
Instead, if we're giving that same message year round, that's even better.
It is. I agree.
So, maybe it is good that you're saying you don't see like the Eastery, messages all around. Because maybe that means some churches are putting that out. Now, it also conversely means that some places are focusing so much on Corona that they're not getting into the Easter message. And I think there needs to be that balance there.
Right.
And like I said, I think at this, regardless of the circumstances that we're seeing around us, we need to remember what this means for us. When you put the whole picture together, you realize Easter isn't just a time of getting some candy and getting together with family and having confetti smashed all over your head through eggshells. You realize that Easter is a time of remembrance, and remembering and celebrating a time in Christian history that is so important that regardless of what happens the rest of the year, this one point in time was so essential and so important that it could be celebrated year round. And even if, you don't have a drive-in sermon to go to on Sunday, even if your church doesn't do an online sermon, even if you don't have the ability to connect with others through technology, if you have a Bible, you have the story there.
Yep.
And you can learn, and you can read, you can rejoice, and you can have a very, very Merry Easter.